are living in crazy times and things have become so expensive that everybody is searching for cheapest countries to study abroad in 2026. And that is what we are going to be covering in this video. Alrighty, so here we are, and this is how I call it, the 2026 Guide to Affordable Study Abroad. 2026 edition. I love it, love it, love it. So here we have the affordability equation. And let me start by giving you all the recipe. The recipe to know if a country is a place where you should go to study, or should you consider it cheap or not cheap? Because sometimes, or most times, you hear no tuition and you're like, yay, let me go to this country. And then you start piling up all the other things and you're like, oh my goodness, this actually becomes really expensive at the end of the day. So let us start with the recipe for what you should call a cheap study abroad destination. The recipe is tuition fees plus living expenses plus administrative hurdles equal to the real cost. You have to consider the tuition, you have to consider the living expenses, you have to consider the administrative hurdles. That is going to tell you the real cost of that place that you want to go study. When you hear no tuition, it doesn't mean that that place is going to be an affordable study destination, okay? So remember, keep that equation in your head as we go along. So let us look at the affordability belt. Here you have a ton of countries. You have USA, Germany, France, Poland, Romania, Thailand, Malaysia, Nigeria, Vietnam, India, Pakistan. It's practically just the ordering of countries based off of which ones have from the most expensive to the kind of cheapest study abroad destinations. This video is actually aimed at targeting students and those searching for study abroad opportunities from the global south. So we are not going to talk about Nigeria, India, Pakistan. We're not going to talk about that, but we are going to talk about some other places that have more scholarships and the things that you can sort of navigate your way through, okay? So let us start here with Malaysia. Malaysia is an interesting opportunity and it has quality plus cost equilibrium. And why is that the case? You have annual tuition here. It's about between $2,500 to $5,000 for public universities, and for private universities about $6,000 to $9,500. And then you have the monthly living cost, which is about $582 per month, and then you have all of that, what you spend for food is going to be $1 to $3, okay? Rent, you can stay on campus and things like that. So the advantages of Malaysia is that English is actually widely spoken, and so many universities in the US actually have a campus, they have a campus in those various countries. So what you're doing is you're still getting some kind of a US English education, but for half of the amount that is going to be paid, okay? So Malaysia, that is the first one we are looking at. The second place this is actually two countries, as you can see, the East Asian powerhouses, and this is China and Taiwan. China, why China? You have highly subsidized, the tuition is highly subsidized by the CSC scholarships. I'm sure all of you know the CSC scholarships. And then living, Beijing subway rides, extremely cheap. You have canteen meals. And then the hidden cost is the mandatory insurance. Probably everybody has to pay that amount in terms of insurance. I am not too familiar. I have not lived in China. I have no idea. But that is what the research shows. And then you go to Taiwan, the tuition fee is about $1,000 to $1,800 per semester. And then living in Taipei is $50. And then the rent is about $200 to $600. And then the quality of education here is really good. You have high-tech, safe, democratic country. So as you can see here, China has scholarships that they will highly subsidize your studies, and then Taiwan is more affordable and high-tech. And if you know anything about geopolitics and what is going on in the world, you know that Taiwan is practically the chips capital of the world. When you see the US and China pushing and pulling, one of the things is actually Taiwan, because Taiwan practically manufactures a ton of the chips, and the world is driven by tech. Everything tech is driven by chips, okay? So these are the countries we're talking about, China and Taiwan. Think about those. And then the next ones that you are going to think about is actually Vietnam and India. And I was really surprised to find this in the research, because I was like, really? But what it says is that if you go to study in Vietnam, your monthly budget is probably going to be about 200 to 300, rent included. They have a ton of street food culture, so you can food eating is not that expensive at all. And then you have, like, for tuition, you have a ton of international programs that are actually like increasing on the rise in these countries. And India, you can actually have about 13,000 plus courses, and then the cost is like one of the lowest globally. And the process is actually like just applying for the universities. It is not that complicated at all. And I was looking through, I was like, okay, this is interesting. So if you still want to move to a foreign country, live in a foreign country, but you're looking at the expenses are not much, you can actually go to either Vietnam or India. And talking about that, I know people who have actually gone to India, studied for a master's, and then they applied for a PhD somewhere else. I was actually helping one student last year, she to apply for the next Japanese government scholarship. She made it through the first round of the scholarship process, and she made it through till the final round of the scholarship process. So what you can do is you can go to India, actually study there, and then, because it's like cheaper, and then, and you're already abroad, there is a sign that you've moved to a foreign country and things like that, then you can now move to somewhere else. Okay, now let us go to Europe. Let's talk about Europe. We have Central Europe. You have this EU degree at half the price, because we're talking about EU is the entire block, right? The entire block that we call the European Union. So what countries are we looking at here? We are looking at Poland, and we are looking at Hungary. So Poland, the tuition fee is about 2,000 euros per year. It has a ton of English programs. Living expenses, you're going to be paying about 330 euros to about 430 euros. Rent, you can live in dormitories, and they are like 90 to 140 euros per month. Hungary, you are going to be paying a tuition of about 1,000 to 5,000 euros per semester. Then they have the huge Stipendium Hungaricum that we all know. That is one of the most famous scholarships from Hungary. Everybody applies for it. If you do not know about this scholarship, please do well to know about the scholarship, because this is I think it's like one of the most famous scholarships that come out of Hungary. And the living expenses, you're going to be paying about 500 to 750 euros per month, which I think that is affordable. So you can see, when we go to Europe, you're looking at Poland and Hungary. And then let us look at Germany. Germany. I post a ton of content about Germany. I'm sure everyone knows about no tuition fees for public universities in Germany. We all have long threads on Twitter about, oh, these are the various universities that do not require tuition fee. But as you can see here, I told you the recipe, right? The recipe is you have the tuition fee plus the living expenses plus the administrative hurdles. In Germany, there is a huge administrative hurdle, and that is the block account. And you must prove that you have about 11,900 euros per year in this blocked account in order to get your visa. So this is one of the hurdles for Germany. And although like the public universities are like mostly free, and then you pay like just the semester contribution, there is a significant barrier to getting into Germany because of that administrative hurdle. So if you are, I don't know, based off of, everyone has their various how much you can afford. Based off of how much you can afford, if you're considering Germany, really think about this block account and see if it makes sense to do it. I know that people have come up with ways and schemes in order to figure out the block account. I know, but still you have to think about that. Okay, and then now let us go to the next one. We have France. And France, here you have the tiered fees and state subsidies. Bachelor's, you're going to be spending about 2,700 euros per year. Masters, you're going to be spending about 3,700 euros. And PhD, you're going to be spending about 380 euro. Oh my goodness. Everyone who wants to do a PhD should go to France. Do you see this? 380 euros to study a PhD in France. Why don't you go study? I think the verdict for all of this is, if you are doing a PhD, go to France, because €380, and then they don't have the blocked account requirement. Like, what are we doing? We all should be heading to France, right? All right, let us go to the next one. You have the Balkans, and here we are talking about Romania, Serbia, Czech Republic, and like, this is a ton of tech people who go here. You have like Romania about $2,000 to $5,000, Serbia about $1,000 to $7,000, Czech Republic, it is free till to about $3,800. So the main thing that you really have to think about here are like the hidden costs, right? Yes, you have this reality of it is this, for example, in Germany, this is free, but what are the hidden costs? You have to always think about that and make sure that you calculate all of the things that are necessary for you to make an informed choice about which one is going to make sense for you. And in making sense for you, you can start thinking about, amongst all of these countries, which of them offer study of work opportunities, which of them offer scholarships, because all of that can help you offset the cost, right? So let's talk a little bit about working hours in various countries. The EU in general, you're given like 20 hours to work as a student. France, you are given up to 964 hours annually. Germany, about 120 full days to work. And then the scholarships that you can get in all of these places, there are tons of scholarships. My database has a ton of scholarships. We cannot list all the scholarships here, but regardless, all of these countries, all of them actually have scholarships that you can use. Okay, so now let us come to a final conclusion. Let's bring it all together. Let's bring it all together about what should you do, what makes sense. So this is the 2026 decision index metrics. Okay, this is how you should think about it and what makes sense. So for the absolute lowest cost, you should be thinking about Vietnam and India. Okay, and then the degree, if you want to get like a degree with like a Western degree on the budget, you should think about Malaysia and Poland, right? And then if you want to go like tech people places, you should go Germany and Taiwan. Also, if you want to go best, if you're studying medicine, places to go, Romania and China. And then the best places for working opportunities, you have Germany and France. So what can we see here? You can see Germany appears twice. Germany appears for best work opportunities, and Germany also appears for engineering and tech. But at the same time, Germany has that huge block account that you have to think about. Before I tell you my final thoughts about the cheapest countries to study abroad in 2026, I would like to give a shout out to the people who engaged on yesterday's video. They commented, they reposted the video, and I'm extremely grateful because that really helps show the video to so many more people. And when you do that, you are going to be automatically signed into the engagement appreciation raffle. So we have Bernard Bofa. Bernard Bofa commented on the video. He reposted the video. Thank you so much. And then we have Ayodeji, Arizona. He commented on the video and he reposted the video. So these two people, thank you so much for engaging with my content. If you comment on the videos that I post, if you repost the videos, you are also going to be automatically joined into the raffle. And by the end of the month, we are going to do like a raffle. We're going to pick a winner and I'm going to give you something. I don't know if we're going to do something in kind or something in cash. We are going to talk about it, whatever you want. We are going to do something with reference to that. So let us go back to our topic. What is the moral of the story? The moral of the story is that the real cost of a university is the tuition plus living expenses plus administrative hurdles. And it is important that you always calculate all of those before you conclude which university or which country is either cheap or expensive, and then you can make an informed decision. If you want to work with me, there are two ways that I can help. If you want to do a DIY, I have my scholarships database that has scholarships, graduate assistantships, and I'm actually going to be increasing the content on that database because I have a ton of content to share, but apparently X says that they don't want us posting many times a day, so I have to figure out a way to make that information available. So I'm going to be including more things into the database. So do well to sign up for the database. You're not only going to be getting scholarships, you get sample CVs, sample SOPs, and now I'm going to be including a ton of content that will be helpful. I was posting about Italy program, I was posting about some Germany program, I was posting about, but now X does not want us to post all of those content, so I'm going to send it all to the database. Sign up for the database. And then also I have a self-paced course. If you have a low GPA, sign up for the course. If you've been applying for scholarships and getting rejections, welcome to my world. Sign up for the course. And also, if you're a newbie to the world of scholarships, sign up for the course. It is going to help you. But if you want to chat with me one-on-one, then you can book a chat with me. You are going to get on a call. I'm going to listen to whatever it is that you want to say. I'm going to answer you, counsel you as much as I can. See you all tomorrow at 11 a.m. West African time. Do well to follow this page. Please do well to like this video, repost the video, tag people in the comment section. It really, really helps. I'm going to see you all tomorrow. Peace.